Hi, good evening. Welcome along to the Transfer Show. We're 7 games into the Premier League season and people are already making their minds up on who got it right and who got it horribly wrong in the summer window. We got it right by bringing in the former Newcastle, Crystal Palace and West Ham manager Alan Pardew. Draw your own conclusions about Kaveh Solokol and Mark McAdam.
And it's a good evening from me, Michael Bridge. Loads to talk about in this hour, and clubs are already planning what they need or don't need to do in January. I have a Manchester City update on the way, along with news from Leeds and Arsenal.
If you're a true Liverpool fan, subscribe to Anfield Signal.
Richard Hughes agrees genius £52 million transfer. Richard Hughes has agreed a genius transfer for Liverpool worth £52 million. Let's be honest, the club's sporting director gets a lot of unfair criticism. Hughes is in the business of not the short-term, but the long-term success of the club. He's only had 2 summer windows to rebuild Liverpool, and the second one was when his work really began. Last summer, Hughes oversaw one of the most expensive rebuilds in Liverpool's history. Liverpool broke their transfer record twice to sign high-profile players such as Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak. They spent over £450 million, and naturally, there was an expectation that they would go on to dominate the Premier League. Yet despite that mega spending, the performances have been anything but exciting this season. Many of the players Hughes recruited have taken their time to settle, but this was always going to be the case. Hughes signed young players with a long-term vision rather than just for this season alone. His rebuild isn't even finished yet. Liverpool's squad is completely imbalanced right now, and there will be even more money being spent this summer. It's going to be a true test for Hughes and his ability as a sporting director to see whether he can still attract the same level of players after a disappointing campaign. Liverpool will want to strengthen further, but they will not be negotiating from a position of strength, unless a miracle happens and Arne Slot's side win the Champions League. Nonetheless, last summer, Hughes showed that he is capable of getting what he wants, and he is also capable of striking brilliant deals for Liverpool. Wirtz was a genius deal. Hugo Ekitike was yet another masterstroke, not to mention signing Miloš Kerkez and Jeremy Frimpong, and getting the best forward in the Premier League in Isak. Hughes also struck another genius deal worth £52 million when he sold Jarell Quansah. Hughes was smart enough to agree a release clause with Bayer Leverkusen. Now a lot of sites have been claiming that Liverpool's proposed release clause to trigger Quansah's return from Leverkusen only becomes active next summer. However, Ben Jacobs, writing for Give Me Sport, has clarified and claimed Liverpool can activate the release clause worth £52 million this summer as well. This is only if they wish, and Jacobs reiterates that the Reds have no plans to do so at this stage. But the release clause remains active for them in 2027 and beyond as well. £52 million for a proven player of Quansah's ability, who will also likely be part of England's World Cup squad, is a bargain. In this day and age and market, Hughes struck a genius transfer agreement with the German side. It's one that we can easily see Liverpool triggering. And it's all thanks to Hughes, who saw the bigger picture.
Arne Slot insists Liverpool star being targeted by opponents as attacking problem, addressed. Liverpool boss Arne Slot has addressed the midweek substitution of Ryan Gravenberch and the possible return of Florian Wirtz. Arne Slot believes Ryan Gravenberch is being targeted by opponents intent on stopping Liverpool's attacking game, as he admitted their recent revival has been hampered by the absence of Florian Wirtz. Gravenberch was substituted at half-time for the first time in the Premier League under Slot after a poor performance in the 2-1 defeat at Wolves on Tuesday evening. It followed a below-par display in the most recent previous away outing at Nottingham Forest, although the midfielder did provide an assist for Hugo Ekitike in the home 5-2 win over West Ham United last weekend. Having been one of the Premier League players of the season in helping the Reds to a record-equaling 20th title last year, Gravenberch has found matters more testing this term in his defensive midfield role. And Slot accepts the 23-year-old is having to adapt to rival teams deliberately making life difficult for him in the engine room. I think it's clear to everyone that Ryan is really comfortable on the ball and that he can drive the ball through the midfield, said the Reds boss. What could be an answer to that is making sure the distances are so small that he doesn't have a lot of space in between the lines. It's not so complicated to see what our quality is in terms of our team, and we almost see every game what the answer to our quality is. One of the ways to respond to that is scoring from set pieces. If it's hard to generate chances from open play, then you have to score from set pieces, which didn't go particularly well against Wolves, although our biggest chance again came from a set piece, when Curtis Jones was accidentally denied by teammate Cody Gakpo. It was almost impossible not to score that one. That's the way certain playing styles are being broken down. We have to try as much as we can to generate more from open play, but we're not the only team who are having that problem. Gravenberch have kicked up a harsh yellow card early on at Wolves for a debatable foul on João Gomes, and explaining the decision to replace the Holland international with Jones during the interval, Slot said, "I took him off because he got a yellow for a foul that wasn't a foul, and then afterwards he was doing a bit of holding and that player fell down again, and I saw the referee doubting, so I thought maybe it's smart to take him off." He did not play his best first half, but I think there are not many players in the world that, if the team plays at this gestures low level, that an individual plays at this gestures high level. I fully believe in the fact that an individual performance always comes from a good team performance, and the better we play, the better the individuals will play as well. And players usually look better when you win games, because if he makes the same actions in a game where we lose, or he makes the same actions in a game where we win, you're hyped when you win. Jones will be pressing hard for a midfield starting role when Liverpool travel again to Wolves on Friday evening for their second trip to Molineux inside 3 days. With rotation limited by lack of options, Slot could nevertheless also turn to Andy Robertson, Joe Gomez, Federico Chiesa, and 17-year-old Rio Nagumaha for the second trip to Molineux inside 3 days. Wirtz could return on the bench, having missed the last 3 games with back problem, with Slot detailing how the absence of the German international was keenly felt in midweek after being a major influence in a run of just 2 defeats in 21 games up until the latest setback. "Not only Florian, but in a certain moment we had something going," said the Liverpool head coach. "He was definitely a key part. In some games you miss a certain profile more than in other games, and if you have 66% ball possession, then it's always nice to have a player that's really special in ball possession and that can create something out of nowhere, or find a pass someone else doesn't see, or being able to outplay someone in the 1v1. Those are qualities Florian has. Without him being there, the other players could have done much better, but if you then look back at the game, then in some moments you feel like maybe we missed him in this game. But that's not an excuse to lose, let that be clear."
Liverpool star set to stay despite transfer rumors. Liverpool boost as Fabrizio Romano shares update on Alisson Becker future. Liverpool supporters have been given encouraging news regarding the future of Alisson Becker, with respected transfer reporter Fabrizio Romano providing an update that will reassure many at Anfield. Recent speculation from Italy suggested the Liverpool goalkeeper could be the subject of interest from Serie A giants Juventus and Inter Milan. However, Romano's latest comments indicate that the Brazilian remains settled on Merseyside and has no immediate plans to depart. For a Liverpool side managed by Arne Slot, who delivered the Premier League title in the 2024-25 season, stability in key positions remains crucial. Keeping a figure such as Alisson Becker in the squad continues to carry significant value. Fabrizio Romano reveals Alisson Becker's stance. Rumors began circulating towards the end of February, linking Alisson Becker with a potential return to Italy. Juventus, now managed by his former Roma boss Luciano Spalletti, have reportedly considered him as part of a potential overhaul in the goalkeeping department. Inter Milan have also been credited with interest. Despite that speculation, Fabrizio Romano has clarified the Liverpool goalkeeper's current thinking. Speaking on his Italian-language YouTube channel, Romano said, "There's a lot of talk about both Juventus and Inter. So in recent hours, the name Alisson has been circulating with both clubs, who are evidently looking for a goalkeeper for next summer. I can tell you that at the moment, what we know about Alisson is that he intends to stay at Liverpool for another year. He still has 1 year left on his contract, and Alisson would like to complete it there. So Alisson doesn't want to leave at the moment. Should Liverpool decide to put him on the market, we'll see about that. Those words will come as welcome news to Liverpool supporters, who recognize just how influential the Brazilian has been since arriving from Roma in 2018. Importance of Alisson Becker for Liverpool. Liverpool are approaching an important transitional period. Several of the club's most influential players are now well into their 30s. Alisson Becker, Mohamed Salah, and Virgil van Dijk all have fewer than 18 months remaining on their contracts. Losing all three in a short window would remove a significant amount of leadership, experience, and quality from the dressing room. Even if changes eventually come, Liverpool will want to manage that process carefully rather than face a sudden reset. That is particularly true in goal. Alisson Becker has consistently been among the world's elite shot stoppers during his time at Liverpool. His calm presence and reliability have often provided the foundation for the team's defensive structure. Former Manchester United midfielder Paul Scholes is among those who have argued that Liverpool looked noticeably weaker without the Brazilian guarding the net. Goalkeeping succession already underway. Liverpool have already taken steps to prepare for the future. Georgi Mamardashvili was brought in as part of the club's long-term planning and is already featured when Alisson Becker missed matches through injury earlier in the season. Still, Liverpool will hope to maximize every remaining season with their current number one. While injuries have occasionally affected his distribution, largely due to recurring hamstring issues, his shot-stopping ability remains exceptional. For now, Fabrizio Romano's update suggests that Liverpool fans can relax. Alisson Becker intends to remain at Anfield and see out his current contract, which runs until June 2027. Eventually, the day will arrive when Liverpool must move on from one of the greatest goalkeepers in the club's modern history. That moment, however, does not appear to be imminent. Liverpool scout international star in person with €60 million deal ready to be agreed. Liverpool have reportedly scouted an international star in person. A €60 million offer would be accepted. Liverpool have reportedly scouted Nathaniel Brown of Eintracht Frankfurt. That's according to Florian Plettenberg of Sky Germany. Plettenberg claims nothing is advanced here, but the Reds have been to watch Brown in person. It's also believed that Frankfurt would accept a €60 million for their player. That's a steep price, but one they feel reflects his potential. Brown is still only 22 and has the likes of Barcelona and Manchester United interested in him. Liverpool, then, won't have an easy go of it if they do decide to move. Nathaniel Brown, Situation Summary, Transfer Pursuit and Valuation. As of 5 March 2026, Liverpool had positioned themselves as the frontrunners to sign Nathaniel Brown from Eintracht Frankfurt. Scouts from the club have reportedly been in attendance for several of his recent Bundesliga fixtures, including the 2-0 win over SC Freiburg on 1 March. Eintracht Frankfurt are understood to have placed a valuation of approximately €60 million to €65 million, £52 million to £56 million on the 22-year-old, as they brace for a summer of high-profile interest from across the Premier League and La Liga. Performance and tactical profile. Brown has enjoyed a highly productive 2025-26 campaign, contributing 3 goals and 6 assists in 31 appearances. His versatility is a key driver behind Liverpool's interest. While primarily a left-back, he has demonstrated an ability to play as an inverted fullback or even further forward on the wing. This adaptability is particularly attractive to Arne Slot, who frequently asks his fullbacks to tuck into midfield during the build-up phase. Brown's rise was further evidenced by his debut for the German national team in October 2025, and he is widely expected to be part of the squad for the upcoming 2026 World Cup. Strategic importance at Anfield. The pursuit of Brown has taken on increased urgency, given Andy Robertson's contract will expire this summer, with the Scotland captain set to leave as a free agent on 30th June 2026. A significant void has opened on the left side of the defense. While Milos Kerkez was signed for £40 million last summer to provide competition, Brown is viewed by sporting director Richard Hughes as a top-tier long-term solution. Liverpool reportedly hoped that Brown's close friendship with current Reds forward Hugo Ekitike, with whom he played at Frankfurt, will help convince the defender to choose Anfield over other potential suitors. Analysis. It's an awful lot of money for Brown given Liverpool invested in Milos Kerkez last summer. In fact, the Hungary became the most expensive fullback in the Reds' history when he moved. This potential deal would break that record. And so it's difficult to believe that Liverpool would spend that money on Brown when there are other areas to contend with. Still, they're scouting him in person, and that's about as strong a sign as you'll get that the interest is real. One to watch for the summer, but potentially a controversial one.